Welcome to the GoToMeeting Visual Road and Bridge webinar this morning. This morning we're going to cover the Contracts Management module. We'll minimize this window and log into the Visual Road and Bridge. And the defaults are admin. You can change the defaults by going to Utilities and then the Configure System Security or privilege level you'd like. To do the Contracts Management module, press the C for Contracts and go down and highlight the Contract Management and press the Enter key. And this will bring up the Contracts Management module. It integrates with the Vendors and Contracts table as well as your funds accounting for making payments and everything. We'll take a look here this morning at, by the way, the tabs will let you subset. The opening lets you see all the contracts you have. You can subset by follow-up date when you want to do a follow-up on any given contract. And the open contracts then subsets the contracts down, so you just have to look at the open ones. Right now we only have two contracts open, these two, the asphalt services. We'll take a look at the first contract, and this contract, basically you load the contractor code out of the contractor vendors table, and that was ASPHA for asphalt, so we'll get the same contractor in there. This is the reference for the contract number. You may have multiple contracts with the same contractor, and this system will track those. You set it up for the total dollar amount of the contract. This loads the company, their address, and a contact phone number for the company. And the follow-up date is anytime you have any contract running, you load whatever date you want to follow up again on whatever process. The Progress tab keeps track of those dates, the start date of the contract, the last time you reviewed it, and the next scheduled follow-up review. And that date can vary from this date because those may be two different dates. These may be monthly next review dates, and then you have something special to follow up, so you'd load it to this date. The memo is a running memo, so you can keep track of any incidents that occur on the contract that you want to remember. When you update the contract payment, it will let you know what payments have been made on the contract. Also, this gives you the percentage of completeness on the contract. This particular contractor has two contracts going at this time. This is where you list the contract so you can reference back to it. The progress notes. Now, the payments will be totaled from the total payments made, 82.5. It then subtotals it here for 82.5 as the total contracts that have been, or payments been made. And this percentage is filled out by whoever manages the contract, and it's their estimate of percentage completion. You can compare that to the dollar that you paid to get an idea that you're paying roughly whatever the progress payment should be. Now, to make a payment on this contract, we go to the Fund Accounting module. If you press the space bar when this has focus, and then you would click and highlight Fund Accounting and list Fund Accounting. And let's make a payment on one of the contracts right now. We'll say this is 08 or 05/15/08. Our demo data is dated in fiscal year 2008. This would be the check number that the payment was being made on, if you know it at this time, or you can leave it blank. And the purchase order number from the claim, the fund that the money will be paid out of, and the contractor lookup. This was for asphalt, SE for services. So we charge it to this contractor, and the payment will say it's a progress payment of $10,000. And the reference were either one of those two contracts that we had. The one we're making this payment against is the AS25 contract. We can charge it to a general ledger account number, depending on, we'll say this was consultant management on that project. And who authorized the payment, we'll say George did. And we'll say we'll also pay it on this date. You might come back later when it's actually paid. And so we've entered the amount of the dollars in the actual payment. And we'll click OK, and we'll close this, and then we'll go back to the contracts module. Press the enter key, and we'll take a look at this contract we just made a payment on, and we'll look at the payments, and we've added this $10,000 amount. That also means we paid 23% of this particular contract, and the manager of the project on our end says it's only about 20% done. So we get the total payment amount. We followed the loop for establishing contract and making payments on it. To close a project, you fill out the completion date, and then it becomes a closed project. It retains all the history that you've recorded in the memo fields and everything. So that pretty much covers the contract management module. Let's take a look at the budget. We'll enter B from keyboard here and highlight the budget, press enter. And we charge that against the let's see, what the heck was it? Yeah, the consultant management 513.06 general ledger account number. When we open the budget, we see the dollars budgeted. We can see the previous year's budget, current year budget, and if we budget for next year. And the fiscal year amount, we're about $10,000 over budget. And that was because we made this entry here, which is about $10,000 over. So anytime you want to take a look at any line item, you just open line item, click fiscal year actuals, and you see your encumbered plus spending actuals in the budget and the balance of that budget line item. Money stays encumbered until the check on the date paid, and then it falls through to the spending. So if you have any questions, give us a call or email at compulinkltd@cs.com, or this webinar, as well as all the other webinars that will be